6:30. It is 6:37. Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome you all to Bronx Community Board 7's Veterans Committee. I am Chad Royer. I am the chair of the Veterans Committee at Bronx Community Board 7. And I want to thank you all for joining us. And for those who haven't seen, Happy New Year. Let's get down to the committee guidelines. I will read as follows.
You reading the guidelines? Okay. We
Yeah,
switched it up?
Yeah.
You switched it?
No, I got it. So the committee agenda is as follows. Carla, can you share the agenda real quick? So we have follow-ups from Fordham Village, Kingsbridge Terrace, VA Medical Center. We have Manhattan College Veterans Program. We have James J. Peters Vet Medical Center, where we discuss a mental health research study and a possible fair in February. We also have a presentation on Division of Veteran Services. We also have maintenance on the Bronx VA outer sidewalks and events in April and May. Thank you. Now, as you continue, on December 21st, 2021, Mayor Adams issued an executive order 291, extending the state of emergency through January 20th, 2023. Accordingly, boards are able to continue to act under the state of emergency section of the video conferencing law, chapter 56 of laws of 2022, part WW. This allows the board to continue remotely. Minutes and video recording will be made available on our websites. If you're calling into the meeting on the conference, controls while joining on landline or cell by calling dial-up number. To hear all available commands, enter ** on the phone, *6 to mute or unmute, *9 to virtually raise your hand. How we run this meeting is as follows. Code of conduct for our meetings. Bronx Community Board 7 has the right to remove and or ask a member of the public to leave the meeting or block participation of anyone who engages in inappropriate conduct, including but not limited to obscene or offensive images or language, personnel attacks, threats, or any other behavior that reasonably impedes the orderly administration of the meeting. Repeated offenses will be reviewed by the board's executive committee or any other assigned committee for a ban. The amount of time to be objectively determined by the above committees or the participants in the event of repeated disruptive behavior. If a person outbursts or attacks continue, this will be considered disturbing the peace and authorities will be summoned. Everyone besides the speaker or presenter will remain muted throughout the meeting. After each presentation is over, I will inquire if committee members have questions. Committee members will signify they have a question or comments by pressing the raise hand button or request to speak through the chat or where the chair opens the floor. Members of the public who have joined through the online link will be able to ask questions and make a brief statement on the item after each presentation and after the committee has had an opportunity to ask clarifying questions. By pressing the raised hand button on your screen or request to speak through the chat or when the chair opens the floor. Only those recognized by the chair of the committee will be allowed to speak during the allotted time. We will stay on topic with the agenda. Any other items to be acknowledged by the chair under new business or addressed in the next meeting, granted there is time and the committee agrees on the topic. Following the questions, discussion, and public comments, the committee will begin the discussion after each presentation or agenda and will conclude with the decision to vote on a recommendation. When the agenda is finished, the meeting is adjourned. Any questions related to the meeting software or our process, please use the chat function or raise hand function now or contact the community board office or the district manager. Now, on to the first item. We have the review of the previous minutes from November. Do we have the minutes from the November meeting of 2022? Okay, has anyone, board members present, have you reviewed the minutes?
Wait, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, we are. You know, I skipped a step. I skipped the attendance. Chad Royer present. Helene Red, are you present?
Helene Red present.
Hugo Gonzalez,
Hugo Gonzalez present.
Jean Hill.
Jean Hill present.
Hi, Jean. Emmanuel Asamoah. Emmanuel? Okay, we have quorum. Let's continue with the review of the minutes. Has everyone read it? You can continue. Questions, comments? No questions or comments? I'll entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to approve the minutes.
I second that.
Okay. No objections? No objections. The minutes are approved for November. Thank you. Now, next we have updates from Fordham Village Veterans Residence. Is there anyone on the call from Fordham Village? No one on the call? Okay. I actually did receive an update from some of the residents. So about a week ago, the elevator has been out. So Fordham Village is a building at 355 East 194th Street. And there's one elevator, 5 floors. A lot of the residents who are veterans are limited with physical disabilities. Some require the elevator to work, and it's been out for some time. I suggested a follow-up with some of the residents to get some clarification. And it looks like we might have to engage folks in the building to see what we can do to help escalate the repairs of the elevator. I was told that there was a flood in the building that affected the elevator chamber, and I'm awaiting more information on that. If there's anyone here who would like to reach out to Fordham Village, get a consensus of what's happening, reach out to them. I will also follow up and see how we can raise this issue so that we can get the elevator up and running again.
Chad, have they gone to the Department of Buildings to make a complaint?
I'm not sure how far they've gotten. I got this info yesterday. So less than 24 hours to even try to engage folks on the matter. Perhaps we can get them to make 311 calls, reach out to the councilman's office and insist on meeting at the table to revisit. Amjad, you have
Their first line should be, one, they should do a petition. Yes, they should call Department of Buildings. Then they should reach out, and I believe they're in Councilman Denowitz's area. Is that so,
Feliz.
Carla?
Feliz.
Oswald Felice?
Yeah.
Okay, so then they should reach out to the councilman's office. And also, who's the assembly person?
That would be George Alvarez.
Okay, so the councilman, Felice, and George Alvarez, they should reach out to both of these people and the Department of Buildings, and they should do a petition, because this is something I'm well versed in, you know, having to deal with. So I would tell them to follow those steps.
And you can also email us at the community board's office and we can loop everyone in just so it can get resolved in a
In a
quicker
timely
manner.
fashion.
Maybe, right, Chad, I don't know if you want to share my contact information. I'll share my contact information in the chat.
Yeah, you could share it. Amjad, you had your hand up.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I just wanted to say that this is an ongoing issue with Fordham Village. This is why I've been advocating for, you know, oversight of these type of buildings, because they've been getting away with murder. This is not the first time this elevator situation has gone. Who reported this to you this time?
This was Norman, but Norman was away.
Okay. Well, this is something that, you know, I had experienced in the past dealing, you know, getting the various council persons in the district to there to address it the last time. They're going to have to, you know, the only time they get active, unfortunately, is when you have a crisis. And then you have a large turnover of veterans there who live there now. So many of them are not, you know, civically engaged and getting there or settling in their new environment. So they're going to need a lot of support in terms of helping them organize and put pressure on management to get this thing done. How long has the elevator been out now?
I've been told that it's been about a week.
A week? Okay, that's that. They know. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, but that's typical of Jericho and Fordham Village, you know. And you got a lot of disabled veterans in there. I mean, they have to do a better job, and you know, with getting the elevator company on site to repair this thing. It shouldn't take this long. So that's something we got to, you know, really assist them in, because a lot of them are not active like it was when I was there, you know, to organize. So I yield the floor.
Got you. Thank you.
They should also go to the newspapers, because you need to put them on Front Street sometime. So
Yeah,
I
we
would
did
reach
that
out
last
to
time.
the Norwood Press, Bronx Times, whoever.
Yeah, we did that last time with Norwood News, and that helped a lot to get the CEO to come to address a lot of the outstanding issues we had. So now, you know, they need to follow up, and they was left the blueprint, but, you know, hopefully they'll pick up the ball, but they're going to definitely need support.
Definitely. Thank you. Let's go to updates from Kingsbridge Terrace. Anyone on the call from Kingsbridge Terrace? No one? I don't see anyone. Let's move on. Anyone from the VA? Anyone from the VA?
Hi, good
Well,
afternoon.
yes. Let me just make the distinction. I know we have someone presenting about a mental health research study, right? But that's coming up later. Outside of that, is there anyone else from the VA? So I guess that'll be you, Ron.
Hi, yeah, you said it is me, Chad?
Yes, yes.
Oh, so I know, I'm trying to see if Raul Gonzalez is here.
Raul's on.
Okay, because I know he was going to be presenting on some of the coalitions that we've started to develop here in the Bronx. I'm not sure if he wants to have this opportunity to do this. Is this the right time for that, Chad?
Yes, I will do it here.
Okay.
Okay, Chad. So thank you, Ron.
Hi.
My name is Raul Gonzalez, and I am with Union Community Health Center. But today I'm representing the coalitions that are being built by the Community Engagement and Partnerships Coordination Office at the VA. So Chad asked me to. Chad is part of the coalition. So is Amjad. So is Ron, who is in the call. So I'm going to talk about what briefly about what the coalition's goals are. We are here in order to prevent suicide among veterans. 17 veterans die every day. And out of those 17 veterans, only 10 are using the VA and their facilities for medical or other services. So what the VA wants is to partner with different stakeholders in the community and conduct outreach and engagements for veterans in the community. CB7 and the Veterans Committee is one of the perfect conduit to bring knowledge to veterans in the community in the Bronx. And we want to work with any community organization that that provides services to veterans. Right now in the Bronx, they have the CEPC office of 5 coalitions. We have the Project Brave, which is one of the ones that I'm in. It's called Bronx Ready to Assist Veterans Everywhere. We also have a BIPOC coalition, which is the Black, Indigenous, People of Color Coalition. There's also Health and Hospitals, Art and Healings, and a College Students Coalition. And the idea is we want to identify veterans who are at risk. We want to promote connectedness so that they are aware that they are not alone. And then we want to increase safety to prevent suicides from happening to any veteran who's in the Bronx. And we want to do it through a public health approach where the community is involved with the clinical services so that we could work together in partnership to prevent suicides to any veteran in the community. I yield the floor.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. And if anyone has any questions or wants to be a part of the mission, feel free to reach out.
Chad, don't forget to share the flyers, the recruitment flyers with everybody here tonight for all the different committees.
Okay, got you. I'm not able to share.
That was
Ron,
my
do you-
next question. He called off a lot of names of different committees trying to help do this work, but I didn't get them all. So all of this written down, you say in a flyer so we can see it?
Hi, this is Ronald Downs, and yes, I could be sure to send that over to this community board. And again, just want to introduce myself. I'm Ronald Downs, the Community Engagement and Partnerships Coordinator at the Bronx VA Hospital. I'm very grateful to have Raul on the line, as well as Chad and Amjad, who are coalition members and community partners with suicide prevention at the Bronx VA Hospital. So thank you, Raul, for that great introduction into what we do. Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Are you holding off from questions for right now?
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
This question is for Raul. You was calling off some agency. You were saying that you had all these things in place for veterans for suicide prevention. Is there a list or any way you do outreach to these people? How do you know who's in that predicament? And how can you reach these people that might be in these predicaments? Because, you know, as you know, like you just stated, you know, they're not coming out for service to their services or the services y'all have. And these are the ones that I want to target because these are the ones that might be thinking of it because they don't come out, they stuck in the house, they don't realize the programs you have. So how can we target those ones that don't come out? Do you have a list or something that we can go and do outreach? How do you do that?
Well, the idea is the beginning of the outreach is to commence working with different organizations in the community that may have veterans who may not be engaged. That's the beginning. And that's the 5 coalitions that we have are trying to target different organizations throughout the Bronx that may reach different veterans who may not be engaged. So, you know, there's a student coalition, there's a Project Brave, there's a BIPOC and Health and Hospitals. So we want to make sure that we try to capture everyone. And Ron, who's here from the CPC office, he may be better at telling you how specifically we are trying to engage those veterans who may not otherwise get services from the VA.
That's what I was asking. Is there a number? Do you have a list, or do you have some type of list where you can reach these certain individuals? Or how often do you go? Do y'all do this weekly, monthly, check what out? How is that? That's what I'm saying, because these people can be at risk, right? You know,
Yes.
the ones that don't come out. So how often do you reach out to these individuals? How often do anyone speak to them or do anyone outreach?
So as go ahead, Raul.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, so as far as the list, that's the issue. We don't have a list of veterans because, as Raul mentioned, when it comes to veteran suicide, about 60% of those who die by suicide every day don't have contact with the VA. So there is no way of us actually having a list. So that is why what we've been starting to do is partner with the community agencies who know the veterans better than we at the VA know them. And then from there, getting to those networks of veterans that they probably work with. And we will be having more outreach opportunities as the spring comes. We have the Arts-Based Healing Coalition specifically that has had many events in the community to promote connectedness amongst veterans, and we'll continue to have opportunities like that. Part of what Project Brave is we will start to do is going out every other meeting is one of the things we were talking about, and having an outreach event at various departments, various communities in the Bronx, sections of the Bronx. And that's how we will start. But yes, that is something that we are trying to do. And I think we were thinking about once every other coalition meeting. Our coalition meetings occur once every month. Anyone who is on the call who wants to join, they're more than welcome to email either Raul Gonzalez or myself, or even Chad, who's on the coalitions, or even Amjad, who's here as well. So thank you. I hope that answered your question. Please let me know if it didn't.
I have one more question. Do y'all have a targeted area that y'all specifically target?
Well, for my catchment area is just the Bronx, anywhere in the Bronx and Lower Westchester. So if there are any ideas of specific places where we know historically veterans are overrepresented, but not receiving services from the VA, we can go there.
Thank you. Thank you. So Raul and Ron, I don't have the ability to share on my computer. So if you happen to have something that you can send on the call to share with the folks, please do so. And Carla, we're going to send that info to you as well.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So moving on to our next item. We have a presenter from Manhattan College Veterans Program, Miss Tiana Sloan, who is the Veteran Success Program Director. I want to welcome you to our committee, and the floor is yours.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. This is my first meeting, and I see some familiar faces, so good to see some of you. And for those who I'm just meeting the first time, hopefully we get to work together more. I'm also joined tonight by one of our student veterans, Chris Norberto, who's also on the call with me. And I believe a colleague of mine, Rob Ronnie, I think he's showing through the iPhone. He's in transit right now, but I will be leading. I have a very brief PowerPoint to share with you at Manhattan College. For those of you who may not be familiar with Manhattan, we are located in the Bronx, even though we're called Manhattan College. We have a fairly unique veterans program that supports veterans to, through, and beyond college. So just want to share tonight what we're doing, and then if there's any questions, please feel free to stop me along the way. Carla, I know you were going to make me a host so I could share.
Yes, I already did.
Oh, you
so
did?
you should
Okay.
be able to share your screen, right?
Yes, bear with me. Here we go. Okay, can everybody see? Okay,
Yes.
so Manhattan College, we are not one of the bigger veterans programs, but I would argue that we're one of the most transformative programs. And a lot of that comes that we take a very holistic approach to supporting veterans. So it's not a one size fits all. We do a lot to make sure that we can support our veterans. We also have gone in our archives and found that we've been supporting veterans since the Civil War, which we're very proud of. We've continued our programming throughout the Vietnam era to today. And then the last 8 years, what I'm really going to focus on is what we've been launching into. So our veteran success programs, as I mentioned, it's we're supporting veterans out of the military into college and then later on into career. We do this through 3 ways. We have a Veteran Success Center. We just opened a brand new center here at Manhattan College, which is a place for our student veterans to gather, access resources, study, get tutoring. We also offer a program called Veterans at Ease that in their first semester, our student veterans take an Intro to Religious Studies class together, and they we halfway through that semester, we take them on a stress reduction retreat, which is great in that it teaches them different ways to control the body's physical reactions to stress, but it also is how we start to build community. And we really do try to restore that band of brothers and sisters that they had in the military so that nobody isolates here. And then we also have a student veterans organization, which Chris Norberto, who's on with me, is the president of our student veterans organization. They're a chapter of Student Veterans of America, which is the 3rd largest veterans advocacy organization in the country. Oh, shoot. I'm not sure if in this format, it's gonna actually let me. I had a nice video to share of one of our, it looks like it's not gonna let me play in this format. I apologize, but this cover photo is a picture of the retreats. This was obviously taken during kind of the height of COVID. We're not requiring masks anymore, but we take our veterans halfway through their first semester into college. We take them to a retreat. Recently, we've been going to upstate New York in the Catskills, and it's at no cost to our student veterans, where they get to bond. They do yoga, meditation, mindfulness, qigong, and really get to connect with each other. And we find the vets who go on these retreats together become lifelong friends. Even 8 years later, they're sending me pictures that they're on vacation together. And it's just been great that we've been able to kind of restore that sense of community. Other ongoing programs, after they come back, we want to make sure that we're supporting them all the way through college. So we offer stress reduction programs throughout the semester. We have a weekly open table gathering where we allow our student veterans, or we encourage them to meet up together. We meet at a pub up the block from our campus where they can grab a drink, they can grab a coffee, and there's no agenda. It's just a free talk among their peers, and it's moderated by one of our philosophy professors. We do a lot for career preparation. So we have somebody in our career services who works just with veterans on their resumes, and we do a lot of outreach to military veteran recruiters to make sure that our veterans have pathways and opportunities, so that hopefully they're getting internships while they're in college, and by the time they get to graduation, they are very gainfully employed. We do a lot of community volunteer outreach. So every year we do a cleanup of Memorial Grove and Van Cortlandt Park. We volunteer with the Miracle League for a safe Halloween for special needs children. We do Toys for Tots. You know, we have an Adopt a Highway. You know, we're trying to be good members of the community, and we find that, you know, being able to give service is a nice way that we can connect our student veterans. We also host a ton of social events throughout the year, all about just giving people chances to connect. And then academic programs, we give our veterans throughout the semester, or each semester we host these academic panels where our veterans present to our civilian community here. And they're very well attended, where the veterans get to share their stories of service, but as it relates to a theme. So some of our more popular themes were 9/11 and the call to service. What was it like to either be already enlisted in the military or to enlist in the military after 9/11? What are identity issues that veterans face in the military and then after the military? So those are just a few examples of what we've done. Here are some pictures. So the left is our Halloween that we did with the Miracle League. To the right, we do a 22 push-up for suicide awareness. And this has become even bigger. This past semester, we had so many of our regular student bodies show up that we actually had to do it in shifts because we could not fit everybody on that grassy area that you see there. To the left is a picture of our open table gathering where we meet up the block. And then to the right is the academic panel where our veterans were able to share their stories. And then this is just a few demographics of who we are. We currently have about 85, I'd say this numbers are from a year ago. I apologize, I didn't have a chance to update them, but a year, and we're sitting at over 85 now. We're probably closer to 100. We have 66% of our veterans are BIPOC, 20% are women, 50% are Pell eligible for low income. Our average age is 31 years old and the average GPA is 32 or 3.2, sorry. And then, you know, another unique thing that Manhattan College has, you know, certainly the CUNY system offers affordable pathways, but many veterans, especially the post 9/11 vets, are not aware of how they can maximize their GI Bill using the Yellow Ribbon program. At Manhattan College, we're very proud that we offer unlimited Yellow Ribbon, meaning that our veterans can come and study anything. So a third of our vets are engineers, which for veterans to find a Yellow Ribbon program that covers the difference of the cost so the veteran does not have to pay for tuition is very hard to get an engineering program in New York City. So that is something we're really proud of. We also have about 20% of our student vets are in business, another 17 in science, and then a mixture of arts, education, health. So it's a pretty well-rounded group. And, you know, we are very proud. We have several marks of distinction. This past year, we're ranked a top 10 military-friendly school, which for such a small program was a big deal for us, and we're very proud of it. And we do take that commitment very seriously to make sure that we are providing the best opportunities for our student veterans. We are also ranked by Military Times as Best for Vets Colleges 2022, and we're on the US News and World Report Best Colleges for Veterans in the North region. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions?
The first question is, where are you located at exactly?
So we're right, we're on Broadway. We're kind of on the Riverdale Kingsbridge border. We're the last stop of the 1 train.
Okay.
So we do, oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
We do, you know, our vets, a lot of them do live locally throughout the Bronx. And, you know, but some of them commute from as far as Pennsylvania, upstate New York. You know, their BAH when they're going to school in New York City is considerably higher than some of the surrounding areas. So, you know, New York is a very good place for student veterans to go to college. And, you know, it's just that not all of them, you know, so many veterans, they don't access their benefits, then they don't always know how to use them. So we just like to help get the word out, and anything that we could do. If you know a veteran who needs help figuring out the GI Bill, we're really happy to talk to them and help them figure that out. You know, whether Manhattan College is the right choice or not, we just really take that commitment very seriously.
Got you. So thank you for.
Chad, I had one more question. What is that Yellow Ribbon program you were referencing? What is that?
So the Yellow Ribbon program is an agreement that we have with the DoD that schools have to sign on to. So the GI Bill, if you have 100% education benefits on the GI Bill, it will give you up to about $26,000 a year to use towards tuition, which if you were going to a CUNY is totally doable. Manhattan College, we are a small private college, and our tuition is considerably more. Our tuition's about 45,000, don't quote me. But so the difference, if we weren't a yellow ribbon school, the veteran would have to pay the difference between 26 and 45,000. But instead, Manhattan College has an agreement with the DoD where we split the difference. And Manhattan College picks up half the tab and the DoD picks up the other half of the tab, so that there is no cost to the veteran.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you.
So it's sort of, I really like for veterans to know that they can get a very high quality education. And it's sort of, if you find a school that uses yellow ribbon, it's kind of like adding an extra coupon or bonus or gift card. It's just sort of like, I'm going to maximize my benefits by using a school with the yellow ribbon.
Thank you. So I had two questions. So my first question is, number one, does your school offer a graduate program where if you have a certain distinction as a veteran, there's an option where you can get a scholarship?
So we do have scholarships available for veterans who might not have access to their any education benefits. I would say I don't have any scholarships that are specific for grad students, and that really is just sort of a limited of funding on our end, but we are always trying to, I was a fundraiser by trade for 25 years before I started working with veterans. So I try to keep getting resources for that, but we will work with the veteran to the max of our ability. And probably we go a little bit further to make sure that we're helping them as much as possible.
Got you. Thank you. And one other thing, I said I had another question, is actually a comment. I would like for our Veterans Committee to be a resource for any student who attends Manhattan College and any other college as well, where we can help each other with some of the things that they need help with. There's a plethora of matters, including trying to access benefits, volunteer, addressing the homelessness problem, addressing the suicide awareness. We would like to at least get the wheels rolling where we can grow this into something big where we can help each other.
I would absolutely love that. I really appreciate that, Chad. It's, with each group of veterans, we keep finding more and more unique challenges that they're presenting with. And I could actually even share a little bit with one of the committees that Ronald Downs mentioned earlier. I'm on his Bronx Student Veterans Coalition, which has been a great partnership. And that might also be a way that we could partner, because there's several Bronx colleges that are part of that. And that partnership has been great in that we're able to share best practices of what is working well for each of us. We're able to share when we have events. But also Ronald and his team at the VA have been phenomenal. Last semester in particular, I just had a couple of crisis situations with veterans that were starting to get outside of my ability to assist. And I was able to call on, because of that partnership through the committee, I was able to call on Ronald Downs and his team, and they were very quick to assist our student veterans. So Chad, I appreciate it, because it's just, I think there's so many resources out there, and I really do love connecting so that we can keep getting the vets connected over and over. And even my friend Daniel Germain, who I see is coming up like next or shortly after, he's also been a great partner. And I think the more that we can keep connecting veterans with the right resources, it's just a win for everybody.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. So
Chad, I got a question.
Yeah, I was going to get to you. Go ahead.
So hi, I just wanted to know, in terms of internship opportunities, I work with the Department of Health and Mental Hygiene. My name is Amjad, and we work with developing co-eds in the Bronx, and that's called Community Organizations Active During Disasters. So we have three co-eds that we have set up to help us to recover from man-made or natural disasters in various communities throughout the Bronx. I was wondering, if you have internship opportunities or collaborations where we can talk about to include the veterans into the co-eds because of our unique skill set from the military, they can help the community organize better, learn emergency communication skills, and how to work with each other so that as a community, we can be more resilient. Can you talk about your internship opportunities and collaborate with the community?
Sure. I mean, so a lot of it is I'm always working to try and keep finding out what else is out there. So I do try to keep relationships going with a variety of both public and private organizations to find out what are the positions they have available. We do a lot to prepare our veterans before they apply. So we work with them on their resume. We're coaching them in the interview process, how to follow up. But if you had a specific internship opportunity available, I'm happy to promote it. I am on, not through my direct email, but I do receive your emails, Amjad, and I do put the word out on the blog.
Oh.
I do. So it goes to, I don't know how, but like pre-COVID, I had a grad assistant who met you at something. And
Okay.
she gave you an email account that we use for our whole program. And so we get everything. And I'm so happy to finally see you because your emails are amazing. And that's, you know, constantly, I take so much of that. I send out weekly emails to our student veterans and I'm able to share a lot of the resources. But I can put my email in the chat. And if there's anybody who would like to email me directly, please feel free. I'm always looking for, you know, whether it's a resource, an internship, a job opportunity. I just love connecting with anything.
So if you have my contact information, correct?
Yes.
So let's see about, you know, setting up a meeting sometime, you know, in February or and see how we can, you know, move this ball forward because there's a lot of great opportunities to have the veterans intern on a local level to have a great impact in serving or extenuating their, you know, their life of service.
Excellent. Thank you.
Because that's one thing for a lot of veterans when you get home, you're trying to find out where to go next. And to have a new mission that something they can grasp onto keeps them from, you know, falling in depression or letting their PTSD get the best of them. So I look forward to working with you any way possible. Thank you. I yield the floor.
Thank you, Amjad. And Ms. Sloan, I just want to thank you for coming to our meeting today. Ron, you had a quick question? Ron, I thought I saw your hand up.
Hi, sorry. I just wanted to say thank you again to Tiana for all the great work that she's been doing with our student veterans. She was actually my very first community partner in my role as community engagement and partnerships coordinator at the Bronx VA. And that would be a great opportunity to see about the internships like what Amjad was talking about. So just wanted to say thank you for that. Yes.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you. So again, Ms. Sloan, I want to thank you very much for showing up. More than welcome to come back to our meetings. We hold our meetings once every month. Let's bring some folks on board. And Mr. Norberto, I want to thank you for joining us as well. Look forward to the opportunity of working on a couple things that's veterans related. You know, I will drop my email in the chat.
Excellent. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. So next, I'm actually going to go out of order. I want to present the next person who is also going to be presenting at our meeting from DVS. Let me see if I got this right. New York State Division of Veteran Services. I had to make sure I got that right. So I have Daniel Germain. Am I saying it right? Germain or Germain?
Jermaine.
Germain? Okay. My apologies. The French gets me confused sometimes. So I know you got some great stuff to talk to us about. Hopefully some of us can take some valuable information that you have to share with us. So Daniel, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Chad. It's great to see some of my friends out there. We have some great people out here, and we're doing some great work. I really truly appreciate, and I'm glad to see Jason Williams from the Bronx Vet Center. We haven't mentioned him. I thought he was going to actually represent the VA, because actually that's his forte there. But there's a couple of things that I wanted to do before. Do I have the ability to share? I think I do. All right, thank you.
You do, right?
Yes, I do. I do have it, and
Right.
I'm gonna bring it up right now. And where's my screen? There we go. Everyone seeing my screen?
Yes, I can see it.
So,
I see the whole sheet.
actually, I'm on my last page. Why am I on my last page? You guys don't get to cheat. No, I'm not going to read all this. All right. A couple of things that I wanted to mention as I was listening to your meeting, and I'm so glad that I had an opportunity to talk to you guys. When we were talking about why veterans are not using the VA, this actually is right in my forte, because the reason why a lot of veterans, especially the reservists, National Guardsmen, OTH, and BCDs, for those of you that are not familiar with those acronyms, if you come out of service and you are given a general discharge on a basis of other than honorable, you don't qualify for VA healthcare. If you come out with a bad conduct discharge, in other words, you're a little naughty, all right? And there are some serious issues regarding that, dealing with mental health. You're also not eligible for healthcare. Actually, and unfortunately, veterans don't know that in the last 4 years, that's actually changed. Every veteran, anybody in uniform right now can get mental health treatment from the VA. All right. And as of last year, you can actually go to a veteran can go into any community mental health situation, go to a private doctor, go to any kind of clinic or anything like that that covers mental health. And as long as they're identified as a veteran, the VA picks up the tab. So that's something that should be passed on to your veterans, just to make sure that they know that, because that's one of the biggest reasons why our suicide rate is as high as it is because veterans are not getting the mental health treatment that they need. And a lot of them is because some of them have actually went to the VA trying to get help, and they came through the front door with their bad conduct discharge or their OTH, or the fact that they're a non-deployed National Guardsman or reservist, and they've been turned away because they're not eligible for VA healthcare, and they never came back. So that's just something that I wanted to share off the soapbox. Another thing that I wanted to share, you guys were asking about, do you have access to your veterans? There is a program called Vet Checks that, unfortunately, I'm remiss that you guys don't have a representative from NYC DVS, which is New York City's veterans program, because they have a stockpile of veterans. They have a database that's got, I believe, over 40,000 veterans based on the outreaches they've been doing over the years, the 10 years that they've been in existence. And I guarantee you, I don't know for sure, but I can almost certain that that database could actually be broken down into just the Bronx or just the borders of community board 7's area. And you guys have access to, veterans addresses, phone numbers, there's a lot of different ways to reach veterans, and we really have to not just rely on our different partners out there, stakeholders, but also, I mean, look to the source. I mean, you guys already have NYC DVS. You guys should make use of that. But this brings me right into my segue, because a lot of those things would, I mean, a lot of those veterans with OTHs, bad conduct, the National Guard who's never been deployed, or the reservist that's never been deployed, that don't qualify for health care, I can get them into the VA. All right. And the way that we do that is through the use of having them apply for benefits. Okay. And let me just start my little presentation here. Why do we exist? All right. Basically, can a veteran file their own claims? Yes, they can. Veteran can file his own claim. Veterans can represent themselves at appeals. Veterans can have access to all the information that I have access to. Is all on public record. A veteran right now can actually get any information he wants, and based on the law, the VA is actually bound by law to assist a veteran in any and every which way that's possible. All right. So these are all things that veterans already have access to. And there are other agencies that do the same thing that I do. Okay. But why do I exist? I exist because we're an experienced agency that has 75 years of committed service to New York State veterans. All right, we've been doing this for 75 years. We're trained by the VA. We're trained, we train ourselves and keep ourselves going. And we're veterans that are actually veterans that are helping veterans. I'm 29, I'm a retired veteran, 29 years. I've active duty, reserves, National Guard. I've actually went through the whole gambit. So one of my qualifications is I've seen it all. So I can always talk to veterans about their issues and know what they've had to go through. And we're tested and proven resource for veterans and their families, obviously. So who is a veteran? Basically, did you serve on active duty in the United States Marines, National Guard, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, or Commissioned Officers Corps in Public Health Services? By the way, you guys do know that those are veterans, right? I mean, if you've never heard of Public Health Services, you might want to look them up. And the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Yes, then the chances are that you are a veteran. Because of the 45th president made a declaration, everyone that's basically walking around in a uniform, whether you serve 2 days or whether you serve, 20 or 29 years like myself, you're a veteran, okay? And it's only a matter of what degree are you as a veteran. Now, I put my bread and butter on what is called service-connected disability compensation and non-service connected pension. That's my bread and butter. That's what I do most every day of the week. And that's because that's the part of the job that puts money in a veteran's pocket. Okay, you guys were talking about the Fordham Village and some of these other Jericho project type housings that veterans are at. I'm always in one of those buildings trying to get veterans to file for disability because it puts money in their pockets. So what is a service-connected compensation? How does it work? All right. Basically, disability compensation is a monetary benefit paid to a veteran who are determined by VA to be disabled by an injury or illness that was incurred or aggravated during active duty service. All right, these disabilities are considered to be service connected. Now, does that mean that you have had to lose an arm, leg, you're bouncing off the wall crazy? No. The truth of the matter is a lot of veterans who are able-bodied walking around, they don't file for disability simply because they're of the mindset, oh, I came out unscathed, I don't have any problems, so therefore I'm good. I don't need, I won't qualify for that, or they won't give that to me. But the truth of the matter is, it's not true. All right. A lot of veterans who are walking around today, again, because of the fact that suicide rate is at its highest, that means that the veterans are dealing with mental health issues that they may not be facing. Because for those of you who are veterans, if you know what it took to be in the military for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or like myself, 29 years, the wear and tear on your body, when you're nice and young and everything is great, everything feels good and everything is fine. But wait 10 years or 20 years. That wear and tear that you did on your body when you were young, that, the old saying, my very famous saying is something that comes from the Army. Unfortunately, I'm Army, right? We do more before 9 o'clock than everybody else, than anyone does their entire day. And if you've ever worn the uniform, some of you guys probably are nodding your head. Yes, it's true. Before 9 o'clock, the military is up and gone, and they've done a whole day's work. And then they still have the rest of the day to go. That kind of wear and tear on your body ends up causing you issues. That little ankle sprain that you got while you were in service later on grows into a situation where, or a knee sprain. I got veterans that have had whole knees replaced simply because of issues that they've had in service that were never recognized. The claim process as it happens, all right? Just to give you a quick overview of how this works. If you are a veteran and you file a claim, the VA receives your claim. What the VA does after that is they pull all your records together. And this is a law. They are required to do this. You don't have to give the VA any of your records. A lot of veterans are stuck with the issue that, oh, I don't have all of my records. Oh, they got burned up in a fire in St. Louis. That's not, none of that is true. The VA by law, if the VA can't find your records by law, they actually have to reconstruct them. And the way they reconstruct them is by going every place that you were before and compiling information based on the information that they get from those different places. Once they have all their records together, the VA will, and they confirm that you have an issue from service and a current diagnosis, two big things. The VA will then schedule an examination to determine the severity of your disability. After that examination, the rater compiles all of his information and he makes a decision on your rate. Now, non-service connected pension is another big thing. Not many veterans are aware that such a thing exists. You have a lot of homeless veterans walking around that got deployed to Iraq or Afghanistan. They're wartime veterans, all right? They're actually eligible for an actual pension if they are not working because of a disability. And it doesn't, again, in this particular case, because they're going for the pension, it doesn't have to be a disability that is service connectable, all right? They just can't work because, they have mental health issues, but unfortunately they can't get mental health issues service connected because they didn't have any problem with their mental health in service, but they're having mental health issues now. If they're a veteran, all right, they actually qualify for a non-service connected pension. And just so that you guys know, that non-service connected pension is $1,100 a month, all right, for the rest of their life. All right, if we can get a lot of these homeless veterans to even apply for some of those things, they would not be homeless anymore. Some of the other federal benefits that are available, Tiana has already talked about how the GI Bill, some of the other things that I always push. VRNE is a voc rehab program the VA has. Chapter 35 is if a veteran is 100% service connected, his family is eligible for educational assistance. Most of you are familiar with the VA home loan situation. Champ VA is another situation where the VA offers health care to the veterans' families. Death indemnity compensation. I don't really like that term. I like it better when you say dependence indemnity compensation. Is after the death, the veteran dies of a service-connected disability. If he was receiving compensation, the family of the veteran, usually the spouse or his dependent offspring, can pick up some of that compensation and carry on with it for the rest of their life. Veterans burial honors, adaptive vehicle grants, adaptive housing grants, where that's the situations where the VA will adapt the veteran's vehicle to suit his service-connected disabilities, or adapt his home. All right, if he needs a wheelchair ramp, or if he needs to lower his, if he's in a wheelchair, he might need to lower his cabinets down just so that he can reach them. Clothing allowances, if the veteran is using prosthetics, right, and he tears up his clothes, there are clothing allowance. Employment assistance, VA healthcare, and of course, PTSD from the vet centers. I'm sure Jason's going to speak on that. Now, there are some other benefits that you guys need to know about. These are New York State benefits. I'm going to go through these really quick because I don't want to take up that much of your time. All right. First of all, New York State benefits are available mostly to people that have an honorable discharge. Okay. The only benefit that's not available to you if you have a general discharge is the state pension buyback. I'll touch on that in a minute. Okay. If you're an OTH, you would need a character of discharge investigation to qualify for these other benefits that we have right here. All right. One of the things about New York State, you don't need to have served in combat to qualify as a veteran for New York State. All right. Even if you do not have an honorable discharge for your military service, you still are eligible in New York State. Some of the things that New York State offers: property tax exemptions. If you're not familiar with it, whether you are a Cold War veteran or alternate veterans exemptions, property tax exemption allows you to get actual discount on your property tax. If you own your own home, all right, you can get up to 75% off if you are a wartime service-connected disabled veteran at 100%, 75%. Right. You get 15% just for being wartime era veteran. That doesn't mean you served. If you served in a combat zone, you get an additional 10%. And then if you are service-connected disabled, they take actually half of your veterans rating. So if you're at 100%, they'll give you another 50% off. So you add that up, that's where I get 75% from. Cold War veterans, you still qualify. You get 10 to 15% for the assessed value of your home off. And then if you're service connected, you add your half of your VA rating. And there's a reduced assessment value for veterans that purchase using money from certain sources, such as prison or prisoner of war stipends, muster out pay, or pension for family of retirees. Couple of good hints: you can only receive one of the 3 exemptions, only for the primary resident of the veteran. So if you're rich enough to have income property, no, you can't use it for your income property, but you can use it for your primary residence. Okay, school tax, there are local options. You got to check with your county assessor sometimes to find out if the school taxes are applicable. Employment benefits. There are several employment benefits for being a veteran. There is the fact that you have extra credit on your civil service exam. All right, these are for wartime veterans. Extra credit on if you are a disabled wartime veteran. And we also have the 55C program, which actually allows you to bypass the civil service exam entirely and just get a civil service job on your resume. All right, just using your resume. All right, just to give you some of the particulars, these are just a couple of particulars. I'm not even going to read these over. Most of them are written. I mean, if you need some information about these, Chad, I will make these available to you. I have several flyers that will outline all the things that we've just mentioned here.
That'd be great. Thank you.
You actually can waive. I mean, one of the best things about it, if you're a civil service person, if you work in a civil service area, you can waive, or if you're a veteran, you actually don't have to pay for the exams that you take for civil service tests. Those can get waived. If you miss a civil service test because you were in the military, you can actually take a test. They will give you a test at a reasonable time. The 55C program is, as I said, a special program. It only needs to be 10% service connected to use that program, and minimum qualifications for the job. And you get, once you get on the eligible list, you stay on that list for 3 years. After the 3 years are over, just renew your application. Pension buyback, if you're a veteran and you are like myself working for the state, I get to buy back 3 years worth of 3 years worth of my pension so that I can move myself up in my retirement and my seniority. Nursing homes, VA, New York State probably has the most pristine veterans nursing homes available out there. Well, I would say they're neck and neck with the VA itself. There's 5 of them. There's Long Island. It's out there in Stony Brook. There's Oxford. There's Montrose right up the street here in Westchester. There's Batavia, and then there's also St. Albans right there in Queens. These are veterans nursing homes. These are free for veterans that qualify. And it is for not just the veteran, but also for the veteran spouse. To be in a nursing home, you don't have to have had combat service. You must have at least 30 days of active duty service, and you have to have been discharged under honorable conditions, and must be a resident of New York State for at least 1 year. Obviously, they're much less expensive than private sector homes. You just need to be 70% service connected, and it becomes free to you. Some of the other benefits that we have, we call them the great outdoors. We have the lifetime Liberty Pass for veterans. Not many veterans are aware that they can use the state parks absolutely for free, all right? And we have the reduced price hunting and fishing licenses. Your driver's license, you can actually get your veteran status put on your driver's license, so you don't have to carry a, if you don't have to carry a DD-214 in your back pocket. Used to be, everyone used to have that. They put that in their back pocket and it comes shredded up in 10,000 pieces. But now you put it on your driver's license and it's actually free. Education benefits, just really quick, some of the ones that we have available. All right, tuition, Veterans Tuition Award. Tiana was mentioning some of the different ways that veterans can pay for things. Veterans Tuition Award is a New York State benefit that is available. Another 3 years worth of college for those people that run out of their GI Bill. Merit scholarships for the children of veterans and their spouses. Regents Awards, again, for the children of veterans. And Operation Recognition, you guys don't need to know about that. I don't think we have any World War II veterans here. The Blind Annuity Program, another good program. A lot of veterans think that you actually have to be totally blind. But as long as you qualify on the scale as being blind, you can actually get into the blind annuity program. It actually gives you a tax-free income. Gold Star families, you guys are already aware of that. And the restoration of honor. New York State came out with something very unique a couple of years back, and that was the restoration of honor. Restoration of honor allows people that have general under honorable conditions and oath and other than honorable discharges the opportunity to actually just apply within New York State to restore their honor. And if you are granted, then all the rights that someone who has had an honorable discharge is available to you. Those rights only extend in New York State. These are the conditions that they are generally looking for. If your OTH was because of sexual orientation, gender identity, post-traumatic stress, military sexual trauma, then this is how you would apply. I did that really quick because I wanted to not take up too much of your time, folks. If you have any questions, I'll be glad to entertain your questions at this point, but it has been great. I really appreciate the opportunity to share this information with you, and I hope that I can be a resource for you, for the years to come.
I appreciate that, Daniel. That was a lot of information on there.
Yes.
I actually learned a couple of things. So that's good. That's good. Any questions from anyone? Questions or comments?
Yeah, I had some questions. It was a lot of really great information. Is this all written down someplace? Because it was a lot to try to remember all of it, although I'm over here taking notes on some of this stuff. Is like there a booklet or something that
Tell you what, why don't I give you my information? I'm gonna write my email address in chat. Okay. And you can just reach out to me and I will definitely make everything that I have available to you. Okay. On any particular topic that you want.
Because some of this is good for the veterans family, not only just for the veterans, but there are a lot of benefits in there that I had never seen before as the wife of a veteran that I didn't know about.
Yeah, I do understand that, ma'am. I do understand. That is one of the issues that we have. And I truly encourage this board to, one of the things I did want to add also is as much as you guys can, and I don't know what your level of power is to reach out and have functions that are strictly for veterans so that you have the opportunity to talk to veterans. All right. The same way that you guys didn't know about this information, there are so many veterans that are totally unaware. All right. Unfortunately, the military is trying to do something about it now, but it's a little too late. There's like 20 million veterans out there walking around that know nothing about their benefits. Today, you can't leave the military without going through a transition course, but it still happens. Veterans are still walking away from the military and not knowing what benefits they have available to them.
Thank you. And one good thing that I can say is that this meeting will be available on YouTube in the upcoming weeks. So it'll be available to be played and replayed, dissected, and so forth. So that's wonderful. Hugo, your hand is up.
Yes, I had a question. Do you have any, recently in a one-hour meetings, we were discussing issues that women veterans have. Do you have any specific resources for women veterans, or do you support a group for women veterans?
When you're saying women veterans in particular, you're speaking of possibly a situation where you want something specifically for women veterans. I have resources that are available if you need them. But as far as from my side of the house, I deal with a woman veteran just like I deal with a male veteran. All the benefits that I described are all available. Just for example, military sexual trauma is a big hot button today. but I do have female counterpart veterans, so that if a female veteran was uncomfortable speaking to me, he would be able to speak to one of my female counterparts, and I have them all over the city and all over the state.
Thank you.
Thank you. Let's see, who else? I have Ronald and Jason.
Hi, yes, I just wanted to say we do have a woman veteran program manager at the Bronx VA Hospital. Her name is Jade Williams. And if you would like, we can have her actually come to this Community Board 7 meeting and have her present on all the services for women veterans at the Bronx VA Hospital. Thank you.
Oh, thank you for that. Thank you. That's a good call to make. Jason?
Yes, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can. Hi,
Okay,
Jason.
my name is Jason Williams. How you doing? I'm with the Bronx Vet Center. We actually just hired a new counselor because we have individual counseling, group counseling, family counseling, also military sexual trauma. But like I said, we just hired a new female counselor. She was gonna be on tonight. I told her, oh no, it's okay. You don't have to be on here. And look, she should have been on. But yes, definitely, we'll be on next time, and I'll probably try to correspond with you to see if I can put on put our little PowerPoint on and let you guys know what we can offer veterans throughout the community.
That'll be great. Thank you.
Right,
That'll be great. Definitely reach out to us and we can get on the schedule. Thank you. Shanaz, your hand is up.
Yeah, thank you, Chad.
Hi, Shanaz.
One of the things that I keep hearing from what everyone has shared is that suicide ideation is a big issue. And before a veteran can even understand what his benefits are and how to go about, the mental clarity has to be first given to them. And if you can let me share for 1 minute, Chad, I could share the screen. Thank you.
Are you able to share?
Okay, can everyone see this?
Yeah.
So this is the International Association for Human Values, and one of the branches of this association is the Project Welcome Home Troops. This program is so transformative. In 5 days, our veterans have seen a difference. So please check out this website, projectwelcomehometroops.org. And in 5 days, we teach them a signature breath work called Sky Breath. And over the past 30 years, this has transformed the lives of veterans who have PTSD. And in 5 days, they journal their experiences and then they are taught the breath work. And after that week, for the rest of their lives, they have weekly follow-ups. This program is completely free to a veteran and their families, and they will be supported for the rest of their lives. This program, presented by the International Association for Human Values, we have a similar program for Sky Campus. It's called Sky Campus Happiness for college students. We have Sky Schools for students in schools, and we also have the same program for the community. We also have for a program called Prison Program. It is part of the International Association of Human Values, but we take the program into the prisons for inmates. So you will see, once you allow your veterans to experience this for 5 days, they'll get a sense of clarity. Their minds will become so clear that they'll be like, okay, what's my next step? What benefits do I get? Who do I speak to? How do I get my paperwork together? Right now, they are walking around with so much PTSD that they can't sort their lives out. So no matter all that services that we have, we need to first get them to calm down and relax and be able to manage their PTSD. For me, I experienced this program and I had PTSD because of an abusive marriage in 30 years ago. And I didn't know I was carrying so much PTSD. And when my counselor evaluated me, I had about 146 points from the evaluation. After this program, my points came down to 14. So she was amazed without medication how I brought my points down to 14. So please do consider if, Mr. Germain, for example, you are already a veteran, please experience this program and then you will be able to talk about it yourself. So thank you very much for hearing me out.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you. No other questions? Daniel, I just want to thank you. Thank you, Shanaz. I just want to thank you for a wonderful presentation. I definitely learned a lot from it, and it would be very much appreciated if you were able to come back on our monthly meetings going forward so that we can help in assisting the mission of helping our veterans. We'll definitely welcome that. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, could Shanaz put her information in the chat?
Oh,
I have already put my email and the website right at the beginning of the, I can put it up again.
okay, I see it. I see it. Thank you. Thank you. We have two more quick items and then we can wrap up the meeting. We had someone that was going to discuss. Okay, let me pull my agenda up. Mental health research study. Unfortunately, they could not stay. They had to get off the call. We'll try to see if we can link up with them in the next month. We also had a fair in February at the VA. So I was trying to get information on when the next fair would be available. That has not come forth just yet. So hopefully by the general meeting, which will be next Tuesday, we'll have some information on when the next fair at the VA will be. Part D on the new business, maintenance of the Bronx VA and outer sidewalks. So the VA located on one side, West Kingsbridge Road, and on the other side, Cedric Avenue. There's been a lot of complaints of dog remains, garbage, dumping, bike riding, what have you. And there was a tree that actually fell and damaged the gate. So they're currently working on the damage of the tree in the gate. One question I was trying to figure out is what jurisdiction do the outside sidewalks fall under? I was recently told that it falls under city government as opposed to federal government. I don't have much more info on how we can report these instances in an effort to try to keep the outside of the VA cleaner, or rather respected, because the garbage dumping is rather disrespectful. I hope to get some more information soon. Events in April and May. So I put that on the agenda in the event that we had information on when Bronx Week was going to be around. I know we mentioned doing a flagging ceremony at Woodlawn, a flagging ceremony at the Bronx Victory Memorial. Those are in play. We just have to highlight dates and times. A lot of it is contingent on when the Bronx Week will take place. If I'm not mistaken, I think it might be the second Sunday in May. So we can bring that forth unless Carla, if you're still on, I don't know if you have any other insight to bring on that.
I'm still on. I reached out to the borough president's office and they still don't have a date set um for the culmination of Bronx Week. But it usually takes place the second week in May. But
Gotcha.
they don't have exact dates yet.
Okay, so we have some time. Not a
Brad, I
lot of
have
time,
a
but
suggestion for you.
I'm sorry.
I have a suggestion for you.
Go ahead.
A little while back, I can't remember when we did this, that what they did was they had it at St. James Park. So all of the people say that we're speaking with tonight. We had a veterans, I want to say round table or a veterans come and meet and speak. And we invited veterans from all over the area. We had all of the different people like you had tonight, and they came with information. They set up individual tables. We even had somebody come and cook, you know, some little hors d'oeuvre type things or do a recipe thing. And we gave out information. We made it almost like a party atmosphere, but with information to go with it. And it went through the Veterans Committee. So maybe we should consider doing something like that again. I don't know if St. James Park, the gym is open because we did it in the gym. And I don't
It's
know if
still
that's
closed
back,
now.
is it still closed?
Yeah,
Okay, so we can look for another place to have it, maybe Monroe or even somewhere else. And put together something like that because that went really well. A lot of veterans showed up. We advertised it all over the community. Like all of the people that you have tonight, we came in and we asked them to set up individual tables where they gave out, you know, more one-on-one information where the vets can come in and ask, you know, their own questions of these different groups. And they were all in one location. So it just made it easier for a lot of the veterans and the veterans' families. That's just a suggestion.
well, Gene, I'll tell you, that sounds like a wonderful suggestion. It sounds like something that's needed. I think it's something that we can definitely take advantage of. If we do have an indoor spot, that would be great. If we were to do it outside, I would imagine we would need permits from the parks. So would you, well, let me ask, Hugo, Helene, any comments on that?
Sounds good to me if we could do it.
Okay. How about you, Helene? I don't know if she's on. Okay, I don't think she's on. I think it's a good idea. So question, do we want to discuss this offline and prepare this for the February meeting? And then we can take it to a vote?
Well, I would say we could sit and discuss it, you know, amongst ourselves as the committee, and
Mhm,
then think about what resources we would need to have it done, who
mhm,
we want to invite, how we
mhm.
want to put the whole program together.
Okay,
And then, you know, we could reach out to all of our organizations who come to our meetings and ask them, you know, we could work out a date that might work for all of them and, you know, put the whole thing together. You know, we can do this in May when the weather starts to getting warmer, so we could promote it all over the place. It'll give us time to promote it and also to find the venue and you know, put the whole program together.
got you. So that was the other thing I was gonna ask. Um, would April be up, would April be too soon?
I would think closer to May because to give you more time and to give them, the groups that we work with, more time to plan their calendars. Because sometimes they have crowded calendars and then
Okay.
we need to see what resources we would need to put the whole thing together. Maybe we put together like a little bag of information and like I
Mhm.
think at the time when we did it, we put like maybe little cookies in the bag or other little things. And we had like, I'm saying we had it like almost like an event where we even had food for them to have, nothing extensive. So maybe we had a fruit salad and maybe, you know, Gloria used to come and do the water with the watermelon and the what have you. You know,
I
we do a whole,
remember.
Yeah, we did a whole thing with it, so that's basically what I'm kind of angling towards. And we could
Okay.
sort of like flesh it out with the committee.
And just to keep in mind, we also have the resource fair in June. That's towards the end of June.
Mhm.
So I wouldn't want to spread our budget too much because it's very limited. Of course, if we can get in-kind donations and a place that can provide tables and chairs and then everyone just participates, that's great. But if we have to rent those items, then
No, I don't remember that
you
we
know,
rented anything.
okay.
If I remember correctly, what we did was we had tables and chairs, which the tables and chairs, since we used St. James Community Room at the time, so they already had the tables and chairs. And basically, it wasn't like a whole lot of sitting around. It was like almost like when we do Bronx Week, and you just stroll along and you go to the various table with a different, people have things set up and you got the information, and then maybe you strolled over to where they had some food or a cooking demonstration. So it didn't require a whole lot of expense. And then, we reached out to some of our other community partners because the city council, the congressional office, the assembly all have some money that they can contribute toward it.
Okay.
So
I
we
think-
didn't hit the board for a whole lot of money is basically what I'm saying.
So I guess what we could do is if it makes sense, we could find out what we could commit to as a board. Would we need to know how much is in the budget, or that's not even necessary?
You can put in an ask. I mean, you always need to know what's in the budget. We get a yearly budget, how it gets expensed out. So you would have to go to budget personnel and say, oh, we need X amount of dollars to give this particular event. So like I'm saying, you don't have to depend on the board for the majority of the funding. Reach out to our community partners and ask them to contribute something. Even if they don't contribute money, they have other things that they can contribute.
Got you. Well, the
Right.
executive meeting's tomorrow, so
You could bring it up then.
I could raise the question there.
Yeah.
And then we could talk offline, present something in the background. I'm pretty sure we have at least, and I'm just being, very generous here, maybe 4 partners on this line who probably would be more than happy to take part in it. So yeah, let's do an official follow-up in February. We could talk offline and we can bring it forth.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm with it. I'm with it. Thank you, Gene. AJ, you had a question real quick or a comment?
Yes, can you hear me?
Sure.
Yeah, Miss Carla brought up the resource fair. It was at Poe Park. If you think of the way the bandstand is, not even half that circle was filled up with tables. I think that would be a great opportunity to invite these people, as the board already does that. With that whole rotunda, it's going to be, I believe, Oswaldo Felice, they allocated money to redo that. So even then, that's a great use of Poe Park. It's usually just full of crackheads. Thank you.
We'll consider that. I'll definitely consider it. Indoor or outdoor, whatever would make sense. We'll consider all avenues at this time. Thank you. Okay, so I don't see any more hands up, so we are at the conclusion of our meeting. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Some of us were here on the first time, others who have been here a couple of times. We welcome you all. And our meetings are open to the public. If you know any folks who want to get involved or want to raise an issue, I would like to consider us a no judgment zone. Any questions, comments, please bring it to us so that we can be part of the solution. Special thanks to Ms. Sloan, Mr. Jermaine, Mr. Rosas. I know you've been very helpful in the past. I want to thank you. George Cook, thank you for being on our call. We're going to come back to your office with a follow-up from Fordham Village. I'm On that note, any final words from anyone? Any final words? Anyone?
Well, I will actually follow up with you guys with Fulham Village and hit up DOB to see what's the issue with this elevator, because as I know, I went to Fulham Village last year a couple of times for the meeting, and I'm just said it is an ongoing issue with the elevator. And also with the health fair, we did do a couple events at the park, and the park actually gave us tables and chairs to use. So I guess the only thing,
right?
yeah, in Poe Park,
Okay.
yeah, and Poe Park they actually did provide us with chairs and tables. The only thing they didn't give us was tents. So if you want to bring your own tents or anything like that, but I believe you have to do the events a month or two ahead so they could know.
I see. So we would have to file in February, pretty much.
Yeah, so any event you want to
soon
do
as
at the park
possible.
will
Yeah.
be like a month or two ahead.
Right. And this is assuming that we have a timeline as to when we want to hold it.
Yeah,
Got you. Got you. Well taken.
you're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Final words, anyone? No? Okay, so I guess this concludes our meeting. It's 8:14. I enjoyed speaking with you all. I hope everyone got some wonderful value out this meeting. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
All who oppose? None? Good. So this concludes our meeting. Thank you, everyone. And if anyone has questions,